Hi, it's Lorna, and today I'm going to be showing you how to draw a dragon. It's going to be a fire-breathing dragon. Get my lighting situated there. So the first thing you want to do is you want to think about a lizard, because dragons most represent reptiles and lizard or snake-like features, like a long, skinny body with lots of scales. Could be more of a Chinese style dragon, or a big thick body almost like an alligator would be like a European dragon. The difference between a European dragon and a Chinese dragon, well, there's a lot of lore and things like that, but the main difference is that a European dragon has wings and a Chinese dragon does not. So I'm going to be drawing a European dragon here because I want some big fabulous wings. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to start with the head. I always like to start with the head because that helps me with the proportions of my body. So I'm going to start with just a circle. And I want some fire coming down here, so I'm going to start the head pretty high up on my paper. This is just Bristleboard. You can use cardstock or any kind of paper. I'm using Bristleboard because I'm going to be painting this with acrylic paint later. So I want a little eyeball. So I'm going to divide this into thirds. And I'm just doing light strokes because I'm going to erase a lot of this. And then I want my eyeball to be situated in my top third. Then what I want to do is I want to draw a little bit more definition for an elongated nose. So I'm going to do a kind of rectangle shape. And I'm also going to shape my eyeballs. So I'm going to come up and make a triangle. So there's a triangle there. So I have kind of a snout and a head. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend this line, my thirds line, all the way down, because this is going to be where my dragon's jaw is. I'm going to draw a little bit darker so you can see that. So I have the jaw, the eye, his little nose. So because this is a profile view, you're not going to see the other eye, but you are going to see a little bit of a hump where the other side of his head is. So I'm just going to make a line out and make almost like the letter L, and then curve it around to meet the rest of my circle. Now what you want to do is you want to shape the head. So because a dragon is a mythical creature, you can shape the head however you really want. It's really up to you. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the eyeball more almond shaped. So I'm going to do that by coming up, making kind of like a more sinister point happening here. I want my eyeball still to remain inside. So it's kind of like an eye socket, and that's really going to create some more drama. This is almost like a furling eyebrow happening here. So I'm just taking those lines that already exist, so this circle line, and I am getting rid of some of the more obvious round shapes. So you see there, he's got more of a furrowed brow. He's got more of a sinister eyeball. You could flatten this out even and make it even more sinister. Pretty cool. He's gonna have a pupil that looks like a little line, almost like a cat's eye. And then I need to work on my nose. So he is going to be breathing fire, so I'm actually going to bring this part up a little bit more so that his mouth looks open. And I want to come up for a nostril bump and then back down. And then for his bottom jaw, I'm gonna have it come a little bit lower and connect to the bottom of the skull. Then I'm going to make a V. Inside. Then you can erase any lines you don't want anymore. I like to erase as I go along so that I don't confuse myself. So he's got a little bottom jaw there, maybe a little hint of a nostril happening there. Then what I want to do is I want to work on the back side of his head. So I'm just going to come down and I want to make his jawline just a little bit more robust. Again, these little decisions are up to you. And I think I want him to have some horns. I think that horns really sell that it's a dragon, and I like to just do a lot of different kinds of horns. So I'm just gonna do some little triangles, little cones, if you will. And then because one's gonna be behind the other, it's gonna look a little bit shorter and be stacked up in the back, and instantly that already looks a lot more dragon-like. All right, so now I'm just going to erase any of these circle lines in here that I don't want anymore. Might extend this jawline just a little bit, kind of an upturn to make him look a little bit more scary. He's gonna be fire breathing. There are cutesy fire breathing dragons, but I think this kind of style where he's just a little bit more like I'm gonna burn stuff is pretty cool. So now for the body, I like to just do a kind of a noodle, like a curvy noodle. So I like to do the back line first and then follow it. And you can do like a pot belly. So the back line's really what's going to be your defining shape. So I just like to go with my wrist and I make like a backwards S. If your dragon's facing the other way, you would make an S that way. All right, so he's got a bit of neck, and I want some of that scale to come out underneath his jaw. And then I'm actually going to make a fat dragon because I like the way those look. So he's gonna have a big pot belly. It's like the letter C. And I'm gonna erase this top line. So then what you want to do is you want to decide where your belly starts, and I think I'm just going to follow the thickness of this, and it's going to go thicker at the top, and then I'm going to get a little bit thinner towards the bottom where his tail would be. I can have his tail kind of run off the page down here and come back up. Maybe it's got a little bit off the screen here. Maybe he's got a little bit down there. You could have big chunky legs, or you could have no legs at all. That's a decision that you would want to make. Maybe some little marks to show that it's curved. Some little lines. Almost like big, giant tummy scales. And then maybe he has some little spikes coming off here. All of those decisions are really up to you. Kind of erase that one. There we go. And I'm not gonna do any arms, but if you were to do arms, you could do just big oval shapes. Maybe I'll do a couple little legs, and then his wings will be where his arms are. So an oval, and I'm kind of attaching it at where his hip would be. Again, it's a dragon, so, and then I'm gonna do a little rectangle connected to the base, and then some more rectangles, and then some triangles. He's got 3 toes, and those are just gonna be his little claws. And then you want to erase any lines in between, and you want to just kind of combine those 2 pieces together with some little bridge lines. And he's got his little toes. And then you just are gonna draw your claws however you want your claws. I just like little triangles. So he's got one little leg, and you're gonna see a foot hanging out behind his big belly here. So if he had one of these, you may even have bigger haunches for the size of him. I think maybe that would be cool. I think that looks a little bit cooler, having some bigger haunches. So he's gonna have another leg sticking out back here, and another little foot. And I'm just gonna do the shadow of that because I'm gonna just paint that black. Maybe he has a little back talon here. I mean, it's a dragon, so you can really do whatever you want, and no one can tell you that it's wrong because no one's ever seen a dragon that I know of. Okay, so you have kind of your little dragon, and I think he just needs some wings. So I'm gonna have his wings connect here, and I'm just going to do a triangle, and it's gonna come off the page, and then a triangle, a curve that comes down. And then I'm gonna erase this line in between because that is, you know, we wouldn't see that anymore. Then maybe he's gonna have just a little part where it connects. And when you're painting, you can make other decisions as well. And then he would have another wing that you would see in the background. Maybe you want this wing to come out this way, but I'm gonna have fire there, so I don't want that. And this wing's gonna be darker because it's in the background. But you are gonna see these spikes, so you don't wanna erase those. Okay. So now for the fire, this part here. So I'm actually going to flip my dragon because I find that the curves are easier for me to do upside down than they are right side up. So what I do for flames, you could do this just with the acrylic paint, or you can sketch out and follow along, is I'm gonna have it smaller and then get bigger towards the bottom because it's coming out of his mouth. So it's just a series of curves. I'll do one flame just to show you and I can talk about it. So what I do is I just do a curve going up, then a U that follows through it up, then a U. So it's a bunch of backwards S's or S's and then backwards S's with U's in between. So I'll show you again. So you can do a curve that goes up like an, and then you can come down into a U. And if you want, you can come back down. So it's just a bunch of upwards curves and then downwards curves. And you're just bringing it up to meet it. Right, and you can do however many. You can do a little S and bring that together. Just lots of little organic curves. There's no right or wrong way to make these. You can just keep going with your curves. Maybe you want to come all the way down into this. That's cool. But it's just a bunch of curves with U's in there. The coming down into a U shape is really, really great because you get this deeper pocket of flame, which is really cool. I like to pair that with a bunch of little, just like teardrop shaped ones, maybe a couple little funky ones in there. And then you have a bunch of fire, and you want the red to come up into here. So what you would do is you would, when you're painting, just have it darker in there. You could add some teeth, maybe his teeth are showing, all sorts of stuff. So I feel like I want a little bit more flames coming out in this direction. So I'm gonna flip it around. And that's all there is to it. You can practice flames. I do a lot of dragons. And when you're coloring your flames, you would do your lightest color in the center of this and then your darkest on the outside, so that would add a lot more dimension as well. This is a pretty cartoony dragon, but you could take this line art and really add some different colors and dimension in order to make it look more realistic. But this is how to draw a dragon. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe. I am going to be doing a video of me painting this as well, so stay tuned. I hope you enjoyed it and that you have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching. Bye.